Standing up straight can chemically alter your mind. Most people who hear that dismiss it as pop psychology nonsense, a myth that just won't die. The truth is far more complicated and far more interesting. Smart scientists disagree violently on this topic, with one side holding up definitive proof it's a fiction, and the other pointing to a deeper biological reality we're only beginning to understand. Where do you stand? By the end of this, you might change your mind. The story begins with a promise so seductive it took over the world. In 2010, researchers Amy Cuddy, Dana Carney, and Andy Yap published a study that seemed to offer a biological cheat code for confidence. The idea was stunningly simple. Adopt a high-power posture for just 2 minutes, and you could fundamentally change your body's chemistry. A high-power pose is expansive. Think of a superhero, hands on hips, chest out, chin up, or a CEO leaning back in a chair with arms behind their head. These are postures of dominance and openness. The opposite, low-power poses, are contractive, slouching, crossing your arms, making yourself small. These are postures of submission and defense. The experiment had 42 participants give a saliva sample to measure their baseline hormone levels. Then, they were randomly assigned to hold either high-power or low-power poses for 2 minutes. After the 2 minutes, they gave another saliva sample. The results were explosive. The high-power group showed an average testosterone increase of about 20%. Testosterone, the hormone associated with dominance, risk-taking, and assertiveness, their cortisol, the primary stress hormone, dropped by roughly 25%. The low-power group saw the opposite effect. Their testosterone dropped by 10% and their cortisol spiked by 15%. The implications were breathtaking. You could, it seemed, literally change your hormonal signature just by changing your body language. You could walk into a job interview, a difficult negotiation, or a first date and prime your brain and body for success. The concept of faking it till you make it was given a biological blueprint. It became fake it till you become it. Cuddy's 2012 TED Talk on the subject became one of the most watched of all time, with tens of millions of views. The advice was everywhere. People were standing like Superman in bathroom stalls before big meetings. The promise was immense, a simple, free, 2-minute intervention to make you more powerful, confident, and stress-resilient. For a moment, it felt like a settled piece of science. That sounds convincing. But there's a problem. When other teams of scientists tried to run the same experiment, the cheat code stopped working. This is where the story turns. The field of psychology was entering a period of intense self-scrutiny known as the replication crisis. Researchers began to discover that many famous foundational studies were difficult or impossible to reproduce. Power posing became the poster child for this crisis. In 2015, a team of European researchers, led by Eva Rainhill, conducted a much larger, more rigorous version of the original study. They used 200 participants, more than 4 times the original sample size. They pre-registered their methods, meaning they publicly declared exactly how they would conduct the experiment and analyze the data before they began. This prevents researchers from subtly shifting their methods to find a positive result, a practice sometimes called p-hacking. Their findings were a hammer blow. After holding the poses, participants in the high-power group did report feeling more powerful. The subjective effect was there, but the hormonal changes vanished entirely. There was no statistically significant increase in testosterone. There was no statistically significant decrease in cortisol. The levels were flat. The biological core of the original finding had evaporated under scrutiny. The fallout was dramatic. Other labs tried to replicate the hormonal effect and failed. The evidence mounted. The original finding appeared to be a phantom, a result of a small sample size and perhaps some analytical flexibility. In a stunning move, Dana Carney, one of the original study's authors, publicly distanced herself from the hormonal claims. On her university website, she posted a statement detailing her updated position. She wrote, "I do not believe that power pose effects on hormones are real." She listed the failed replications and concluded that the evidence was just too weak. The idea that a 2-minute pose could rewire your endocrine system was, from an evidence-based perspective, dead. The case seemed closed, and yet, even in the studies that debunked the hormones, something strange kept happening. People still felt more powerful. This is where the debate pivots from a simple question of fact to a much trickier question of value. The debunking studies consistently found that holding expansive postures made people report feeling more confident, more in charge, and more willing to take risks, so the psychological effect was real, even if the hormonal one wasn't. This led to a new, more moderate position. Power posing works as a kind of self-signaling. By adopting the posture of a confident person, you trick your own brain into feeling more confident. It's a mental prime. The physical action creates a congruent mental state. From this perspective, does it matter if the hormones don't change? If you walk into that job interview feeling more confident, speak more clearly, and make better eye contact because you did a 2-minute pose beforehand, you are more likely to get the job. The outcome is the same. It works, just for a different reason. It's a useful placebo. This position is safe, reasonable, and fits the available data. It allows us to keep the useful part of the practice while discarding the unsupported biological claims. It's a neat and tidy solution. But this solution ignores the deeper, more literal connection between your body and your mind. The debate over a 2-minute pose distracted everyone from the far more profound effects of the posture you hold for the other 16 hours of your day. The focus on a quick hack might have caused us to miss the real mechanism entirely. Let's forget posing for a moment and talk about posture. Your default, habitual posture. When you sit slumped over a desk, your shoulders rounded forward, your head pushed out, you are physically compressing your chest cavity. Your rib cage can't expand fully. This directly inhibits the movement of your diaphragm, the large muscle at the base of your lungs that powers efficient breathing. You are forced into a pattern of shallow, rapid breathing that relies on the smaller muscles in your neck and chest. This pattern of breathing has a name. It's the signature of the sympathetic nervous system. It is the breathing of fight or flight. It's the way your body breathes when it perceives a threat. By chronically slouching, you are sending a low-grade, continuous signal of threat to your brainstem, hour after hour. Your body exists in a state of perpetual, low-level alarm. That state has a chemical signature. Its name is cortisol. Now consider the opposite, an upright, open posture. Your spine is elongated, your shoulders are back, your chest cavity is open. This allows your diaphragm to move freely, pulling air deep into the lower lobes of your lungs. This promotes slow, deep, diaphragmatic breathing. This pattern of breathing is the signature of the parasympathetic nervous system. It's the rest and digest system. It signals safety and calm to the brain. Over time, a body that breathes this way maintains a lower baseline level of cortisol. The link is mechanical, it's physiological. Bad posture restricts breathing, which signals threat and raises cortisol. Good posture enables deep breathing, which signals safety and lowers cortisol. This isn't a 2-minute hack, it's the accumulated physiological load of how you carry your body through thousands of hours. This provides a solid mechanical link for cortisol, the stress hormone. But what about testosterone, the hormone of status, dominance, and agency? The connection there is woven into the fabric of social reality itself. Your posture is a broadcast signal to every other human you encounter. It's a statement about your place in the social hierarchy before you ever say a word. Imagine 2 people walking into a meeting. One is slumped, eyes down, taking up as little space as possible. The other is upright, shoulders back, moving with purpose. Who do you assume is in charge? Who are you more likely to listen to? Who would you interrupt? Your posture doesn't just reflect your internal state, it actively shapes how other people treat you. Someone with a chronically slumped, submissive posture is broadcasting deference. Other people, often unconsciously, pick up on this signal. They might speak over that person in meetings, be less likely to ask for their opinion, or offer them fewer opportunities for leadership. Over months and years, this social feedback creates a self-reinforcing loop. Being constantly treated as low status makes you behave in a more low status way. You become less assertive, you take fewer risks, you compete less. Here's where the testosterone link becomes clear. A key driver of testosterone levels in both men and women is something called the winner effect. When you win a competition, whether it's closing a deal, winning an argument, or even just being socially dominant in a conversation, your brain gets a little hit of reward and your testosterone can temporarily increase. This makes you more likely to seek out and win the next competition. Over a lifetime, A person who experiences a consistent stream of these wins, however small, will tend to maintain a higher baseline testosterone level than someone who consistently experiences social defeat or opts out of competition altogether. Your posture is a primary input to this system. An open, upright posture signals a willingness to compete. It invites engagement on an equal or dominant footing. It increases the probability that you will experience these winner effects. A closed, submissive posture signals the opposite. It is a preemptive surrender. It reduces your chances of winning because it reduces your chances of even playing the game. So, the chain of causality is long, but it's logical. Chronic posture influences social perception. Social perception shapes social feedback. Social feedback shapes your behavior and your willingness to compete. Your history of winning and losing shapes your hormonal profile over the long term. The original Power Pose study wasn't necessarily wrong about the connection between posture and hormones. Its mistake was assuming you could shortcut a process that takes years of social conditioning and compress it into 120 seconds. So what do you think? Where do you draw the line? On one side, you have the hard data from replication studies showing that the 2-minute hormonal hack is a fiction. To believe in it is to ignore the scientific method. It's a dangerous piece of pseudoscience that gives people false hope. On the other side, you have a more complex long-term model. A model where your chronic posture mechanically alters your stress physiology through breathing and shapes your social reality, which in turn sculpts your hormonal profile over a lifetime. This model suggests the original idea was right in spirit, just comically wrong about the timescale. It suggests we threw out a fundamental truth because we were disappointed that the shortcut didn't work. Is posture's effect on your hormones a debunked myth we should finally let die? Or is it a deep, biological reality that we misunderstood because we were desperately searching for an easy answer, when the real mechanism is slow, demanding, and woven into the very way you carry yourself through the world?